What if I told you that the future of road building isn't in America, China, or Europe, but in West Africa? That old rubber tires, the same ones most countries burn or throw away, are being used to build roads stronger, cheaper, and greener than anything the world has ever seen. The hidden truth. For decades, the story has always been the same. The West tells Africa, "You need us. You need our money, our aid, our technology." They act like progress only happens in Silicon Valley or European labs. But reality is shifting. While rich countries spend trillions on endless wars and bailing out failing banks, Africa is quietly turning garbage into gold. And leading this revolution is none other than Ibrahim Traore, the bold leader of Burkina Faso. He didn't wait for permission. He didn't beg for loans. He looked at what was already around him, mountains of discarded tires, and asked a simple but life-changing question. What if waste could become wealth? A country in crisis. Burkina Faso in 2022 wasn't a land of plenty. It was a nation drowning in international debt. Roads cracked, washed away, or simply didn't exist. Villages were cut off during the rainy season. Ambulances couldn't reach patients. Farmers couldn't bring crops to markets. This was the country Ibrahim Traore inherited. Instead of crying for help from Washington or the IMF, he thought differently. He turned to the piles of old tires rotting in landfills. To the world, they were garbage. To him, they were the foundation of a brighter future. The tire road revolution. Here's how it works, and it's genius in its simplicity. Teams collect tires from across the country. Car tires, truck tires, motorbike tires, it doesn't matter. These aren't dumped randomly. They're carefully arranged in patterns to form a flexible, yet solid base. Then comes the magic ingredient, a special cement mixture. It flows into and around the rubber, locking everything together into one powerful structure. The result? Roads that are 40% cheaper and last far longer than traditional asphalt. But that's only the start. Because rubber absorbs shocks and vibrations, these roads don't crack under pressure. Heavy trucks? No problem. Extreme heat? Bring it on. Even earthquakes? The roads flex and bend instead of breaking apart. This isn't just road building, it's road building reinvented. More than roads, a movement. The environmental benefits are stunning. Those same tires that once poisoned rivers, filled up dumps, and choked the air with toxic smoke are now sealed forever in the road structure. Pollution is reduced, land is cleared, waste is turned into wealth. And it doesn't stop there. Traore's idea created a whole new industry. Thousands of young people are now employed collecting, cleaning, and preparing tires. Others mix cement, lay roads, and handle maintenance. Money stays in local communities instead of flowing abroad. Innovation doesn't just solve problems, it creates opportunities. Farmers, families, and the future. Imagine being a farmer who used to spend 5 exhausting hours pushing a cart down a muddy track to sell vegetables in the city. Now, the same trip takes just 1 hour on smooth, tire-paved highways. Crops arrive fresh. Prices go up. Incomes rise. Or picture a mother in labor in a remote village. Before, reaching a hospital might have been impossible during the rainy season. Now, ambulances can reach her in time. These roads are literally saving lives. So yes, it's about tires, but really, it's about dignity, safety, and opportunity, from waste to wonder. And here's where the story gets even more exciting. Once the first tire-based roads proved successful, local engineers and builders didn't just stop there. They started experimenting and asking, how can we make this even better? That's when they discovered something amazing. By filling the hollow centers of the old tires with sand, gravel, or even recycled plastic materials, the roads became stronger, more stable, and lasted even longer. Every improvement builds on the last. Burkina Faso is showing the world that innovation doesn't need billions in funding or fancy foreign experts. Sometimes, it just takes courage to try. And the world is noticing. Countries like Mali, Niger, and Chad are studying the model. Environmentalists in Europe are praising it as a blueprint for eco-friendly infrastructure. Who would have guessed? A small West African nation is teaching the world how to build better. The canal system. But Ibrahim Traore didn't stop at roads. He knew that food security was another trap holding Burkina Faso back. Farmers prayed for rain, and when it didn't come, crops failed. Families starved. His solution? An artificial canal system. During the rainy season, water is captured and stored in reservoirs. Then, during the dry season, canals channel that water directly to farms. Suddenly, barren land turned green. Farmers harvested more than enough to feed their families and even had surplus to sell. This system didn't just feed people, it sparked fish farming, created cooperatives, and gave young people jobs in agriculture instead of forcing them to leave for cities. From the sky, you can literally see the change. Areas once brown and dry are now bursting with green. A solar city for tomorrow. Still not impressed? Let's talk about Traore's most ambitious project yet, a solar-powered city. Picture this: every home, every school, every hospital powered entirely by the sun. No ugly power lines, no polluting fossil fuel plants, no crushing electricity bills, just clean, reliable energy. And it's not just about power. Schools will train young people in renewable energy. Solar buses will provide transport. Free internet zones will connect students to the digital world. Burkina Faso, once energy poor, is building a future where children never have to study by candlelight again. This city isn't just a development project. It's a symbol. It says to the world, we don't need to wait for you to lead. We can do it ourselves. A new kind of leadership. So what's the real secret here? It's not only about technology or clever engineering. The bigger truth is about a way of thinking, a philosophy of doing things differently. You see, many countries fall into the same trap again and again. They borrow money from foreign lenders. They import expensive building materials, and they rely on aid that often comes with strings attached. This creates a cycle of debt and dependency that feels almost impossible to escape. But Ibrahim Traore decided to break that chain. Instead of waiting for help, he looked at what was already around him: old tires, local labor, natural resources, and turned them into powerful tools for growth. By doing this, he kept money circulating inside Burkina Faso. Every dollar stayed close to home, paying workers, creating businesses, and lifting communities. The result was not just stronger roads, but new jobs, new industries, and a spark of innovation that keeps spreading. This is not the kind of leadership that follows someone else's rules. It is leadership built on self-reliance and independence. It is progress born from courage, not control. It shows that true change doesn't come from foreign powers pulling puppet strings, but from ordinary people rising together to shape their own future. Why the world should pay attention. Ibrahim Traore's work is bigger than Burkina Faso. It's a challenge to the way the world thinks about development. For decades, we've been told that poor countries must wait for rich ones to bring solutions. But Traore is proving that the boldest ideas can come from the very places people overlook. What others call trash, he calls treasure. What others see as impossible, he sees as opportunity. That's why people say leaders like Trump or other world powers never saw this coming. Because the revolution didn't come from New York, Beijing, or Paris. It came from Ouagadougou. The bigger picture. Think about it. Roads from tires, canals from rainwater, cities powered by the sun. Each project builds on the last. Each success inspires the next. Every young person working on these projects isn't just building roads or canals. They're building confidence, skills, and a new vision for their country. This is more than development. It's transformation. So the next time you see a worn-out tire lying by the road, think again. To some, it's garbage. To Ibrahim Traore, it's a building block of the future. Burkina Faso is teaching us that innovation doesn't have to come from billion-dollar labs or foreign investors. Sometimes, the greatest revolutions come from the ground up, from leaders brave enough to say, "We don't need permission." The world might have doubted Africa for decades, but now Africa is building roads, canals, and solar cities that others never even imagined. And maybe, just maybe, it's time the world stopped looking down and started taking notes.